for this live stream, because there's a lot of times when service can be catered in the context of this notion of help and helping of others. And anybody who's been listening to these things long enough knows that I'm got kind of some thoughts about help ideas. Oftentimes they can be problematic because they kind of create this power differential where folks who have are identified in certain ways and folks who don't are identified in certain ways. And I want to move past that. And we totally can in the context of service. This does not have to be this idea of someone giving to someone in an effort to kind of pull them up, because the service in the context of acceptance and gratitude and forgiveness and service is really about a choice that I can make in the context of the things that I do and things that are in my control. So service is really about simply giving. And so in other words, it requires some kind of like sacrifice is a cool word because it's has that kind of sacred piece to it, but it's an offering of, and it's not about the other person. Not in that, you're going to drive, long story about a truckload full of frozen turkeys from Reebok on Thanksgiving Day one year. So, that is the kind of giving that really wasn't particularly useful in the context of it wasn't thoughtful about who might be receiving. And so then we get into that difficult territory of thoughtfulness, because it's cool to be thoughtful, but then there's also this, strange place where we can put ourselves in a position where we're making assumptions, totalizing other folks in the context of needs and so on. And so giving of oneself and doing that in the context of not expecting anything in return, and that it is something that's difficult, that's difficult to do, that requires a sacrifice or a giving of. A loss is kind of in there, but not really, because it creates a whole bunch of other weird stuff around language. But giving of oneself and having to put oneself kind of out there in a certain way that requires something of us is how I think about service in the context of those service practices that I take up. And it seems like a great time right now in the context of the holiday season, especially in the Christian tradition of Christmas, where the giving of gifts is a thing where we have the opportunity to give to and give from and give of ourselves again to others. But always, I'm always thinking about that careful kind of place of making sure I'm not, I'm taking up some kind of position of oppression by the kind of giving that I do. So that's the service piece. Once again, if anybody's interested, I'm really psyched. I actually have a couple of folks on the sort of in the background right now who are going to be doing the show with me tonight at 7 o'clock. Really, really excited. Amazing people who are going to be there, and just so much that they have to offer. So if you do have the chance to tune in, this very place at 7 o'clock tonight, I guarantee it's going to be awesome. No, it's going to be something. If you like singer-songwriters, if you like heartfelt music, if you like people who really care about music and songwriting and the art, then please do tune in. And